So you're playing Genshin long enough to have the wishing system unlocked, and you gain access to a free 5-star standard character because of the anniversary. And you choose Dehya. Yes, I'm going to go through and try and make videos for all of the standard 5-star characters because Benny is not getting videos this banner because I just made some videos for him not too long ago. I think I made Benny's videos like 3 times now. So instead we're going to do the standard 5-star characters, starting with, of course, Dehya, because in Dehya, in Layla we trust. Yes, I did commission to have this Dehya emote made. It's amazing. So we are going to talk about Dehya. Now, instead of doing a basics guide and artifact grinding hell guide, I'm just going to do it kind of in one video. So this one might be a little longer. I might be able to explain it all relatively quickly though. So if you're watching this video and you want to see me go through the rest of the other 5 stars, do be sure to follow, like, subscribe, comment, all of that fun stuff. I don't ever like self-promote in these videos, and I think that I should start, right? It seems fitting for me to like start doing that. So for this video, we are going to be using my Dehya. I am a Dehya main of a sort. Of course, Nilou is my main. So we are going to go through and look at my Dehya for this video. Now, my Dehya is level 9990 with 46,978 HP, 1100 attack, almost 1200, 92 EM, split 62.8 over 171 with 123 ER, and she does have a Pyro Goblet. For weapon, she is running a level 80 beacon. I need to get that to 90. 4-piece VG. She is C5. C5 is what I actually got with my standard banner, free standard banner character with C5. And talents double crowned with her normal attacks at level 8. So real quick, her passives, her first one is going to involve her skill and how the damage mitigation works. The second one involves her healing herself because she does self-heal. Once she gets to a certain HP, she heals back up based on her max HP, which is why just the sheer cold in Dragonspine cannot kill her. And I don't even think the lava in Natlan can kill her if you swim in it. So let's go look at how her kit works. We are going to skip normal and charge attacks just because they don't really do much of anything in her kit. So we're going to start with her skill. Now what her skill is going to do is that her skill is going to put down this circle. It's going to do an instance of AoE pyro damage as well as put down this circle. The circle is called the Fiery Sanctum. Now this Fiery Sanctum does a couple different things. The first one, it mitigates some of the damage to your on-field character over to Dehya. So if we swap to Emily, let her take damage whenever Dehya takes the field, you'll see that she is actually taking damage from Emily being hit, right? She's not being hit at all while I'm running around with her. However, her HP is going to be lowering a little bit at a time because of the damage mitigation. Now we can use her skill again to pick up the Fiery Sanctum and then punch it back down, doing another instance of AoE pyro damage. Something else that I need to really point out. You're going to notice that Dehya, the Fiery Sanctum, stays up for almost the full duration of Dehya's cooldown on her skill. That is because of the constellations on Dehya. So if you're like, man, my Fiery Sanctum's not lasting that long, it's because of the constellations. I believe it's her C2 or it's her C2, I believe. No, it's either C2 or C4. I can't remember exactly. Also, the Fiery Sanctum gives the character inside of it resistance to interruption. I said it correct that time. So it's really good for a character like Neuvillette. It's really good for any character that is susceptible, like Wanderer, even. So as you can see, Dehya is just going to be taking damage, and she's just going to be kind of standing there still. She's not going to really be, being interrupted. Now, something else that this Fiery Sanctum does, you get damage mitigation, you get resistance to interruption, interruption to resistance, interruption resistance. I knew I was going to say it wrong. You also get a coordinated pyro attack to the enemies inside of the Fiery Sanctum when anybody does damage. So it doesn't have to be Dehya, it can be Mualani, it can be Emily, it can be Kirara in this team. Anytime that an enemy takes damage, well, it's once every 3 seconds, that whenever an enemy takes damage inside of her Fiery Sanctum, it is going to do a coordinated pyro attack. So it's really, really good to keep burning on an enemy, so that way somebody like Mualani can get vapes off of it. This makes Dehya a very, very good character for a lot of different things. One of them, like in this team, is going to be to give damage mitigation over to her to keep burning on the enemy, so that way Mualani can cause vaporizes. Dehya can also cause burgeons if you are having Mualani create some blooms. That can also be good. She's also giving interruption resistance to Mualani, which I think Mualani gets it on her own, but it just gives even more. And it's going to keep Mualani healthy by mitigating some of that damage over to Dehya. All of that works with the artifact set that I have on her being VG. Now, my Dehya, I do bring her on the field and use her burst as well, which is why I'm running VG and not Golden Troop. We're going to talk about artifacts a little bit more after we talk about her burst. Her burst is going to do a couple of things. I've said that a few times. If you just use her burst, she is going to punch and punch and punch and punch and punch. If you tap your normal attack or your skill while she's doing it, then it's going to increase the frequency at which she is punching. If there is a Fiery Sanctum down, if you use her skill first, whenever you start punching, she is going to pick up the Fiery Sanctum. At the end of her burst, she is going to put it back in the ground with her final hit. The next instance of damage is going to be more, the next coordinated pyro damage from her skill. So it is really good to use her skill, let it be on the field for a little bit, use her skill again, and then go to her burst, use it. She's going to pick it back up, and then she's going to replant it, and then at the end of that cooldown, you'll be able to set it up again, right? If you time it correct, then you'll be able to have her skill, especially with constellations, on the field almost permanently, which is just going to increase the amount of damage that she does. It's going to let somebody like Mulan vape a lot. It's just going to be a good instance, a good pyro application overall. Now, if you were wondering why people say that Dehya is bad, Dehya has gotten much, much better with the introduction of certain characters, right? Whenever Lenny came out, Lenny was super, super susceptible to being interrupted with his charge attacks. Dehya helped mitigate that. Neuvillette, whenever he's up in the air, is very, very susceptible to being hit and kind of made to where he can't do his charge attacks. Dehya helps with that. Also, Dehya applies the pyro, meaning that Neuvillette can vape. You can do burgeon with, if you did like Neuvillette Nahida, then Dehya can burgeon those with the coordinated attack. You can do a lot with Dehya. Working with Dehya and Mulan, actually, I only got Mulan because I wanted to use her with Dehya and Emily. So Dehya's usefulness has gotten much, much better with the introduction of more characters and more artifact sets. Instead of having to do VG, you can do Golden Troop. There's a lot of things that have made Dehya just get better over the time. Her scaling is still interesting because her damage is split between attack and HP. And at C0, it favors attack. At C1, it starts to favor HP. So you almost have to build your Dehya depending on if she's C0 or C1. You can still run an attack hands at C1, but it starts to favor HP. And if you're going to be running her in a team with like Burning, where she is constantly losing HP, you would also want to have more HP on her than attack. So we're going to look at artifacts. We're going to talk about a couple different ones. I am running VG because of the HP increase of C1 and because of the 4-piece set. Now, for the main stats, HP, like I said, because mine is C1+, Pyro Goblet, and then a crit rate or crit damage circlet. I'm running Beacon on my Dehya, so of course I'm going to be running a crit damage circlet. If this had rolled into crit rate, this would have been phenomenal, but it rolled into defense percent and flat HP. Now, some other artifact sets that you can run on Dehya would be, especially in like this Mulan team, would be like Golden Troop. So that way, if you're only using her for skill damage, then Golden Troop can be good. You can run Emblem if you're running her for burst damage. You can run Flowers of Paradise Lost if you're going to be using her for Burgeon. You can be running a two-piece Wanderers Gilded, like the set on my Yao Yao. You can run a 4-piece Gilded set, right? There's so much that you can do with Dehya now. Right? If Mulan is going to be producing blooms, like if you're noticing that Mulan is actually able to override the burning and make blooms, then having Burgeon Dehya can actually be good, because then she's going to be setting off those blooms and doing a ton of damage if you build her EM. If you're wanting her to do damage with Mulan, I'm talking a lot about Mulan right now because she is the character on the banner. If you're wanting her to do a lot of skill damage, then Golden Troop can actually be more. I believe that Golden Troop and VG, whenever you break down all of the math, Golden Troop still gives like a 4% damage, like more damage than VG. But once you get to C1 and it starts to favor the HP, that 4% is actually even lower. It's closer to like 1.5 or 2%. That Golden Troop is going to give more than VG, but Golden Troop doesn't buff her burst, and because I'm using Dehya's burst as well, I am running the VG. It's a lot more than I normally talk about. in one of these videos, but I did just want to like point that out, right? Something else that you can run is that you can run Tenacity if you're running her with like Emily. I was running an Emily, Dehya, Arlecchino, Benny team before. You can run Tenacity on her and allow her skill to almost permanently proc Tenacity to give Arlecchino and Emily an attack buff. So you can do a lot of different things with Dehya. Like I said, she's becoming much more, I don't even want to use the phrase usable, because I used Dehya at C0 and I used Dehya before Farina. I've used Dehya ever since I got her, but she's just becoming easier and easier to work into a team. Something else that I really like about the VG set is that with me running a burning team with Emily and Dehya, VG is permanently procced, right? You have to take damage with your VG character in order to get all of the stacks. Because of the burning and because of the damage mitigation over to Dehya, it's permanently at max stacks on Dehya to where she is doing her max damage all the time. Just little things that go into how some of these teams are built, right? Now, for weapons, if you're going to be running Burgeon Dehya, Rain Slasher is going to be good. Blood Tainted Greatsword is going to be even better because it's going to get more EM, right? It's just a little bit. I believe at level 90, Blood Tainted Greatsword is going to give like 30 to 40 more EM than Rain Slasher. And it's a 3-star, so it's very easy to get. Outside of running a Burgeon Dehya, if you're going to be running her normal, of course, I'm running Beacon, which is her signature, which gets up crit rate, it gets up HP, and it gets up damage. If you're running her with something like Emblem, then you can do like Fav or something else like that. But Beacon also works in a Emblem team. You would just be running like an ER Sans. So that is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, do be sure to leave it down in the comments. Myself or someone else will be sure to answer it, and see you in the next one.